Our Bible reading today takes us to a really well-known passage, the road to Emmaus, which happens on the same day as the resurrection of Jesus, the same day that Mary discovers the tomb empty. And yet the disciples that we meet on the road to Emmaus, the penny hasn't yet dropped as to exactly what's happened. They're walking away from Jerusalem as fast as they can. They're terrified. And the story as we know it is that Jesus, the resurrected Jesus, meets them on the road, and that as they talk with him and they hear his teaching of the scriptures unfold, their hearts burn within them. But it's not until later on, when they share that meal with Jesus and Jesus breaks and blesses the bread, that they suddenly realise who it is that they've spent the day with. And it's a really interesting and difficult passage to be reflecting on during this time of lockdown with COVID-19. Because for me, and I know for many of us, it's in that breaking of the bread that when life gets really tough, when questions go unanswered, when praying is really hard, that we're still able to find Jesus, to see Christ at work around us. When all else fails, it's the liturgy of communion that sustains me. The language of Eucharist or Mass, the breaking of the bread, the gathering there around the Lord's table, that feeds my soul and which in my darkest moments means that I have the strength and the faith to just about put one foot in front of the other. So as I was reflecting on the passage, I felt a bit grumpy and a bit sad, because that's not possible at the moment, to break bread in that way. And I wonder if whatever it is that sustains you in your life and in your spiritual life is like mine, being taken away from you at the moment. But look back at that story, because the breaking of the bread isn't the moment that Jesus appears. It's the moment that the disciples notice him. Jesus has been there all along, teaching and listening. And as I went back to the story and I read the earlier passages again, it suddenly struck me that the first thing Jesus does before he begins to teach is he listens. He knows exactly what's gone on in Jerusalem. He was there. He knows far better than the two people to whom he is listening. But his first instinct is to listen to them, to the story that they have, to the pain that they've experienced. They unpack the whole thing for him. And that really struck me as I was thinking and preparing for today, trying to come up with some wise words for you, and thinking actually the first thing to do is to allow Jesus to listen to me. So I went for a walk. Seemed like the obvious thing to do, and we're allowed to do that, aren't we, for an hour each day. I'm really fortunate that I have the university campus right next to where we live as a family, and those beautiful woods at the back and the bluebells around. So I went for a walk and I talked to Jesus, and I told him all the stuff that he already knew, doesn't need me to tell him, and the stuff which I feel sad about and disappointed about and haven't really complained about or talked about, because it feels minor and insignificant and petulant and complaining to be upset about such small things when there is so much trouble and grief in the world. But Jesus appeared to be okay and to listen to that. So I shared that I'm really sad that I missed my grade 5 piano exam that I've spent the last year working really hard towards. I'm really sad and frustrated and disappointed in myself that I'm a month behind in the research paper I'm supposed to be writing at the moment. I'm really sad and I'm really struggling with the fact that I haven't seen my mum since March. I'm really disappointed and frustrated that the holiday I'm supposed to be on right now was cancelled. These are all minor things, but they're things which felt so minor because really everyone is safe and okay in my family that I hadn't felt able to express. But I told the story, I talked, and I found a Jesus that listened. and then I made space to listen myself. Jesus was there and has been all along, and is with me right now, and is with you too. And even though our usual patterns, the things that we can normally rely on to bring us into the presence of God, or at least to remind us that we're already in the presence of God, those tools of noticing, while some of those might be lost to us for now, for a season, Jesus is still there. We need to take time to talk, to be heard, and to listen. I wonder how you will make space for that this week. Amen.